Hello everyone! Welcome to the second part of Stay Out Till Late at Night challenge. You liked the first one, so let's see how this one will do. I have a feeling you won't like me, but hey. As always, special thanks to my lovely patrons and all of you who still watch my videos. Don't forget to subscribe to keep up with the uploads, and let's get into it, shall we? A strange feeling settled in his stomach that evening as he took the keys from the gymnasium from their captain. It was something he didn't do anymore, not since Atsumu overworked himself 2 months ago like the idiot he was. Not since he promised Kita to always bring Atsumu home on time to prevent it from repeating. But considering this time it was him staying late while Atsumu was home healing from whatever virus he caught last week, he supposed it was alright. What else was he supposed to do for 2 hours than use it to practice some more? It wasn't like anyone home would care he came late. A deep sigh escaped his mouth. He wanted to think that he went along with the challenge from curiosity, just to see his partner's reaction to something so atypical for him. But deep down, he knew he was just trying to prove himself a point. Here you go again, adding more work on them. But it was fine. Not like anyone would really care if he hadn't come home the whole night. Maybe they wouldn't even notice. Especially with Atsumu sick. Though that doesn't change much with how efficient Kita is. It was honestly incredible. Sure, he heard a lot about him from Atsumu over the years, which, looking back, should have been a clear indicator of future events. But the amount of respect for Kita and Aran he gained over just a few months they've been living together surprised even him. No wonder Atsumu was still head over heels for both of them. Sharp pain tugged on his heart with that reminder. He stomped it down quickly, refusing to think about it right now. But there wasn't much he could do when he had everything right in front of his eyes, every day. It hurt, but that's how it often was with truth. Just a question of time, huh? He shook his head and went to pick up some of the volleyballs tucked away for the night, determined to at least practice some serves before the time for the challenge was up. He could ponder about things later on the way. With no new messages or calls on his phone, he slowly made his way towards the bus stop, part of him wishing he missed the last bus going in his direction. He expected no calls, and yet, looking at the empty screen, hurt more than he would like to admit. You expected that, so what's the big deal? Though it would be nice to get pleasantly surprised sometimes. Careful on his footing in the dark, he walked the somewhat familiar dirt path towards the farm he now resided in on his partner's wish, his feet heavy and mind swirling with thoughts. Especially when he noticed dim light in one of the windows he knew led to the kitchen. Might be Aran making something for Atsumu. Aran wasn't necessarily the one he wanted to meet face to face the most. He probably wasn't awake because of him either. But he still couldn't stop the hopeful skip of his heart with the sliver of chance someone was actually waiting for him to come home. He closed the door behind him as quietly as possible, minding the volume of his footsteps too as he made his way into the living area of the house. As expected, the house was quiet except for soft clinking of some utensils coming from the kitchen. Maybe, just maybe. Kiyomi? Is that you? Sakusa flinched, only humming in answer when Kita peeked around the corner, a soft smile settling on his lips. It is. That's good. I was worried something happened to you along the way. Not enough to call or text, though. He quickly shooed the sour thoughts away and looked down, unable to stand Kita's gaze. I'm sorry. There was something I needed to finish. I see. But I hope you aren't overdoing it. Just look at Atsumu and how he ended up. There was a gentle reproach in Kita's voice, but Sakusa was already used to that. Mostly from Kita talking to Atsumu anyway. Is something the matter? He looked up, finding out Kita's expression had changed, his eyes now looking at him with concern. No, it's fine. I'll just take a shower and go to sleep. You'll have a lot of space tonight. Atsumu's been occupying our bed for the whole day. Of course he did. He knew Kita didn't mean anything by it, but a dull ache still spread through Sakusa's chest with his words, so much so that Kita's smile disappeared almost immediately. You are free to join us too if you want. There's enough space for everyone. I didn't mean to imply you aren't welcome. I know. It's fine. He wanted to rush around Kita to get to the stairs, if only to stop him from asking further. Yet after just a few steps, a surprisingly strong grip closed around his arm, stopping him in his tracks. Wait, please. Are you sure nothing is happening? No. Why would you ask that? Releasing his grip, Kita stepped back and shrugged, the usual kind expression back on his face. Curiosity, perhaps? Or maybe you can call it an intuition. I just feel like something isn't right. He measured Sakusa for a while, the previously hidden concern bubbling back to the surface. Are you avoiding us? Sakusa froze, the ease with which Kita read in him scaring him a little. Avoid? No, I'm not. I'm not. I see. Then it isn't far-fetched when I say you seem genuinely surprised when I express concern for you, is it? It wasn't a question, not really, and Sakusa had no idea what he could answer to it either. That he was surprised when Kita clearly stayed awake to wait for him? That it was surprising he seemed genuinely worried about him right now? When he didn't answer, Kita just nodded, more to himself than anything. It's not, alright. Kita-san. Shinsuke. His throat tightened. Sakusa shivered when Kita squeezed his shoulder, his inquisitive gaze burning right through his carefully built walls. What is it? You can tell me. I'll help you in any way I can. I hate seeing you so down. Why? I'm just a +1 here. Nothing more. Why would you care so much? Silence settled in the house, interrupted only by ticking of the clock on the opposite wall. Sakusa would gladly say it felt good to let it off his chest, but the dread now freezing his blood didn't let him feel any relief. Even Kita looked stunned, something he would have never expected to see. Is that what you believe? He sighed. I see. My apologies. I should have noticed that was the issue when you almost fell with exhaustion while trying to make yourself useful. You know? Of course. I may not be the best at expressing my feelings, but I can observe. I should have said something sooner. I'm sorry. Unsure what to say or do, Sakusa just shrugged, the urge to curl somewhere in the corner to hide the growing unstrength. It's fine. It's not. You are hurting and it's clearly our fault, so we need to make it better. It sounded nice. However, they both knew things were never simple as that, especially in their case. You can't force feelings. I know you wanted me to join just because of Atsumu. It wouldn't cross your mind otherwise. Kiyomi. It's fine, really. Just leave it be, please. And don't tell Atsumu. He's just going to feel bad for no reason. The tightness in his chest increased, as did the pressure building in his head. He had to get out, go upstairs before the walls could crush him or his willpower gave up. And so he rushed to the stairs, but then froze again when Kita called quietly after him. Atsumu still loves you. I know we threw you into a deep water, but everything I told you before is true. We have no intention to erase you from Atsumu's heart, and he still cares for you deeply. Not as much as for you. He never will. He didn't look back, only murmured a quiet goodnight over his shoulder, and all but ran into his room like the coward he was. You better have a good damn reason to come home so late. Do you know how worried we were? Before Sakusa could answer anything, another coughing fit jerked with Atsumu's body, making him look perhaps even more miserable than yesterday. There. I told you not to raise your voice. He handed Atsumu a cup of tea, the soft gaze they shared stinging deep within Sakusa's heart, before he flinched under Aran's gaze. But he's right. We were worried when you didn't come for so long. We wanted to wait for you too, but this little dumbass fell asleep and whined whenever I wanted to leave, so... yeah. Sakusa knew he should find it reassuring, maybe even sweet. But all it did was remind him how happy Atsumu was with just Aran and Kita around, no matter what he said now. He caught himself before his thoughts could mirror on his face and forced himself to nod. I'm sorry. I'll let you know next time. Nah, no next time. You hear me? Indeed. You shouldn't get used to staying out for so long. Yeah. Something could happen for real. And what then? Then you would have one worry less. He sighed, burying that thought deep into his mind. Though, judging by the look Kita gave him, he didn't manage it fast enough. And so he just nodded again, trying to look at least a bit guilty as he sipped on his tea. I'll remember that. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Not gonna lie, I don't like how this one turned out. Like, it told what I wanted to tell. However, I'm just not happy with the writing. It's kind of weird to say that since I'm the one who wrote this, but yeah, I'm really not happy about this. It fits into the storyline I'm trying to tell, but it just wasn't my day apparently. So, sorry about that. If you have any requests or ideas, the request form is linked in the video description. See you next time.